again to listen to what we've got to say. This week we are going to try something just a little different. One of the things my son's been harping on me about is that I should do a video about some of the things I do. I don't just work on this house, although I wish I could just spend 50, 60 hours a week here and just do this. I actually do other things, and the other things I do are still construction related, but those are things that I do get. I do as well. So what we thought we would do is we just kind of go over some of the projects that I've been working on the last few months. I have a huge background of construction projects, everything from new construction to remodeling to add-ons and additions and commercial construction, and I've spent 40 years doing this stuff at this point in time. So he just says, he's been telling me I should at least show people a little bit about where I'm coming from, so that they know that they have a little more confidence in my abilities, maybe, or maybe just a little bit empathy to where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to do as we go forward. So nothing major, just some stuff that we've been working on. I'm going to just basically stitch together a bunch of photographs. I'll tell you right now, I'm very good about remembering to bring the camera, at least the video camera, here over to when we're working on the house here and doing what I'm doing, because as much as I'm making videos for everyone to watch, this is also kind of a documentary for me, so as we go forward in the future, that I go back and watch some of my videos just to keep me motivated, because I go back and I look, here's where we were, here's where we started, here's where we've made it to, and it keeps me motivated, because there are times, I will admit, that working on this house, it does take the life out of you sometimes. Anybody who's ever worked on old houses, especially their own, you understand that feeling that I'm talking about. That, God, are we ever making any progress? Are we ever getting anywhere? Sometimes I have to go back and I have to watch some of these videos myself, just to remind myself of where we were at when we started, and how far we have come, and yet still how much further we have to go. So anyway, we're just gonna stitch some videos together, or some pictures together, because get to take pictures when I'm out on a job site. I get to the job site, I get busy, and I just go to town, and there's a lot of times that him or my wife would say, hey, don't forget to take a picture today, this week or whatever, just to kind of let us know what you've been working on, so we can see your progress. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to stitch them together. I'll talk a little bit about them as we're going. Sit back and enjoy, and we'll talk again soon. All right, so this first job here, it was a production home. The folks had lived there for several years, but this is what it looked like when we started. They were just regular 8-foot walls. Kind of the idea is that they wanted to create a bedroom and a bathroom and a room for they were doing homeschooling and whatnot. But this is pretty much kind of where we started in the process. These were just kind of the before pictures. You can see there where the bathroom's going to be. They've already got some of that underneath there. This was the crawl space that was just it wasn't usable, but we had to still keep access to it. Here you can see that, Dad was helping me on this job as well, but he did what he could do. And then here is the room. We had to do this job in 2 parts, and this turned out to be the school room, but this was just, these were really all the pictures of the framing and whatnot that I took. And they were, the 2 halves of the job were separated by, a few months, but, it was all right. I will admit, I don't take pictures of drywall when I'm hanging or finishing. It's as boring as it can be, but here I happen to think, I should probably take a few pictures, and so I actually took a couple. We're going to get into, like here was where we just started painting, And I just got the first coat of paint on into what was the schoolroom, and I just took a couple of those pictures, mainly just because I remembered to actually take them. Again, I'm not real good about taking the pictures. I probably should. This is the main room, as you know, right after we had gotten it painted and whatnot. Here I think I was taking pictures of the fact that I had gotten the ceiling fans installed. And then this is the beginning of the build-ins that we were doing for them. I used to do a whole lot of these build-ins. We'd build big entertainment centers. But as TVs have gotten more advanced, they've gotten thinner and narrower and much, much lighter. The entertainment centers have kind of evolved a little bit, so we don't do as much of that, but we build kind of things that, you know, where we can mount the TV on the wall and put things underneath them, so to speak. But these are just some of the shots of what turned out to be a whole bunch of bookcases and, you know, places for them to store, I guess, you know, like CDs and those kind of things, or DVDs, whatever. But those were just some of the, you know, as we were building it kind of pictures. I was actually remembering to take some of them. Here were all the shelves that, you know, as I was painting them, I was stacking them under what was basically the staircase. These cabinets, these were some recycled cabinets that we acquired, and we just sanded them down. They were white. We sanded them down, painted them real black, and then kind of finagled a place there. This was going to become a desk kind of place. We ended up putting a butcher block countertop on that, but the folks really liked that. Here's just a shot of me. I don't even know how I took this. I think Dad took this for me. I think these were, you know, these were some of the showing the flooring, and I'm not sure why I have those, but we did. So I thought, well, here you go. You get a shot of the flooring that we used in there. Here the homeowner had bought the vanity, and we used another one of those cabinets that we had, and we recycled it and painted it to match the vanity, and it turned out really nice. This is a thing that we started doing these several years ago. Someone asked me to do it, and I've done this now several times, but it turned out looking really nice. You know, we put a bathroom in for them, you know, full bathroom and a shower. I think this was just a picture of the light that we installed for them, and I think I sent that to the homeowner to see if they still liked it. Here's where the sump pump is, or not sump pump, but the grinder pump. And I believe this shot I had just finally gotten the toilet installed. But here you can kind of see the beginnings of the end here. They got some furniture delivered as we were finishing up. And then this is kind of where it, you know, just as the ending product. In fact, you can see the homeowner sitting there on the couch there. This was the schoolroom. I did that chalkboard. That was really pretty cool. That they really liked that scenario. So we, you know, it's fake. We just put lots of chalkboard paint on the wall there and trimmed it out, and then just some shelving that we put in there. All right, now this next one, this was the only before photo that we have of it. This was you know, not all jobs can be fabulous, but all jobs can be done well. They had a bathroom, or at least parts of one. It was literally, I mean, it was separated by concrete block walls, and the shower was just built into the floor and a floor drain. I mean, there's a good shot of what we had once we took the block wall down. But this house is probably a 1950s house, and who knows how long that bathroom had actually been there, but we started basically by gutting out that concrete wall and taking out, you know, we were going to put a new shower in there, and this is how far off the drain was from where the floor drain was. This little guy, he was my constant companion while I was down there working. He loved to sit right by wherever I was working and watch me. Here, you know, you just see that we're tying into the old cast iron plumbing that was there. Here's where my drain line is now going to come up into my shower pan. And here's a shot of just all the old plumbing that, I mean, you know, it's all copper. We cut it all out and recycled it. But here's the new pan that was going in its place. And we just, you know, we put all that in, we put that in there, and then we spaced it out from the walls so that we could put some insulation up against the concrete block itself. You know, different shots as we're framing this thing out. as we're putting the new plumbing in. Here was my connections to the copper plumbing that was existing. Here I took this shot so I would remember where the pipes were if I ever had to cut back into that wall. This was just a silly photo that I think my dad took of this. I'm not sure who took that one, but again, we bought some off the rack cabinets. We painted them up, sanded them down. Some of these were recycled cabinets even. The whole goal of this basement was that the homeowner here, he needed a place to put his office. He was working from home. Obviously, this is during the whole COVID scenario. And he needed an office and someplace where he could do Zoom calls and whatnot. That wasn't part of his house, so to speak. But here you actually have a shot of me putting in, some of the shower stuff. Again, a recycled vanity. We bought this one and we just sanded it down and painted it a really nice gray color. Good shot there with me in the mirror. But we didn't try to fix everything. I mean, these were drain lines and a radon line and whatnot that, we didn't try to hide all that. We didn't try to get rid of all of that. We took what was there and we did our best to work around it. In fact, the toilet there we didn't even change it out. We took it out of the way, but that was, the old toilet was there. That was there. There's some of those cabinets we stacked. Those were just wall cabinets that we stacked on top of each other and screwed them together and made a nice little pantry out of them. Here's the office area that we ended up with, stock cabinet off our countertop off the rack. Where that little TV stand is there, we actually end up putting even more cabinets in there for him. And this was just a little thing that we built. He needed some storage space and whatnot to put some different things in. And again, we did another one of those staircases with the carpet down and painted it black. And it looked really, really nice when we were done. Notice that, I go from a basement, now I'm outside. Obviously these are holes from a post hole digger. We're going to build a deck here for these folks. This turns out to be a really good sized deck. This is like 30, I want to say like 35 by 16 if I remember correctly. Like I said, my background is pretty varied. I can do a lot of different things. But I did a couple of these decks this summer. This one didn't take too awful long. It was an in and out and get it built, make the homeowners happy and go forward. Here you can see at this end, that doghouse doesn't stay up there, but we're going to put handrails at this end, and at this opposite end, we actually put built-in seating all the way around it here. These folks end up getting a gas fireplace and setting it up on that deck as well. Here I'm starting the balusters, and then on this side you can see I'm starting the skirting, but you can see that the benches themselves have been put in at this point in time. We were putting in this sunshade thing there in that canopy, and a storm came through and wiped out both of them. So we end up going with 2 sunshade pieces on there. And here we're putting the steps in, and it's looking pretty good. We're starting to get to the really close finished project. If you look real close, my dad is sitting there on the back with one of the little children that lived there. This project's another outdoor project. Here we dug up all this space here, and I hired a guy to come in with a bobcat and a triaxle full of gravel, and he put all the gravel in, and we compacted it all the way around there. These folks just wanted a nice little patio. They wanted a fire pit. We put that flower box in it, and then we built a fence across there to basically, separate this little quiet little area from, you can see kind of how close the neighbors are on this one side, and it just kind of gave them a nice little separated area that, the neighbors couldn't see. They could sit back there and be quiet. Here's kind of the finished product. We've got another sun sail up there, got some lights hung up, and they even have a fire going in that one. And that's the homeowner sitting there, and she took that picture and sent it to me. On this one here, this is a deck that we were hired out to do. This is what it looked like when we got there. It had a lower deck section of that deck at some point in time, but it had been removed. And this house The homeowners had bought it. It had been apartments, and it had been a house, and it had been apartments, and they had been taking it back to a house. But this was the access to one of the, I guess, to the upstairs apartment or whatever. And they no longer wanted these steps up to the upstairs. It was, they weren't real sturdy. They were pretty, they were pretty wobbly, and as you can kind of see, there was quite a lot of things that just really hadn't been done correctly over the years. But when you build around the actual deck, that's kind of odd, especially with the siding. Here the people had either taken out a door or put a different door in, or both, or I don't really know. I wasn't involved with that part of it. But here we're taking off the siding and just going to start, building the actual deck there. I worked around this big concrete hunk that was, the steps that had been there earlier. This siding, I can tell you, this siding had been discontinued for well over 20 years. And so, you can kind of just see some of the things that we were working with. Here we're just making a little bit of progress. I've got the post set, I've got the joist set at this point in time, and we're starting to lay out the decking. I think I took these shots because I was trying to make sure that I was straight from one edge to the other. Again, I try to run full length boards as much as possible. Here we ran from one edge to a center board, and then from the center board over to the other edge. And so there were, there's full length boards in between the edges of the actual deck itself. I think these are just different shots of how I was getting it finished up and getting it decked in. We've got, now we're going to start the upper portion of it. Now there's no steps on the new section of this to go to the upper portion. They did want the deck because that's now one of the homeowner's office there, and they wanted the to still have access out of that office out onto the deck there. Just different shots as we're completing. We did the lower section first, and then that made it much easier to work on the upper section because we had a stable platform we could set ladders and whatnot up on. Here I think I'm all done with the upper section except for the balusters themselves. Here we just built the steps off of the one side of the deck, and then we show the skirting here as we're working our way around it. We come around here, and this is the view coming down the side of the house now. The sidewalk does slope that much. That's why that step looks like that. And now we've got the steps on the other side. We're getting real close to being finished at this point in time. More skirting board, and then I think the last shots here we show are basically of having the balusters on there, and it's now getting very close to being complete. At least the deck itself is. This last shot here is basically just me showing the siding. We started with it in a pretty bad situation, and we made it much better than we found it, and we did all of that with basically just recycling everything that we took off the house. But that's kind of where we're at, and that was a completed project, and the homeowners were extremely happy. Well, there you have it. That's what we do. It's what keeps us busy a lot of the time. Just a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak. But that's going to wrap it up for this time. We are probably going to take a little break over the holidays here. We wish you all from Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. Do it wholeheartedly. Enjoy your family and friends. We're going to take a little break for a couple of weeks, but at the end of that, we will get back to work. So from all of us here at the 1875 Lady in Waiting channel, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for coming back and subscribing and supporting us as you do. That's just wonderful stuff. But have a great holiday. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, and we'll see you in the year 2022.